Hello and welcome to Inside Magazine here on I-24 News. In this episode, we take an in-depth look at the historic Christian community of the Middle East, specifically in the Gaza Strip. A once vibrant and thriving part of the region, their numbers in Gaza have now been reduced to less than 1,000. In fact, today, only around 3% of the populations of the West Bank and Gaza Strip are made up of Christians. Well, this ancient community claims various reasons for their flight from the region, mainly the ongoing conflict with Israel, a bad economic situation, and increasing pressure from Islamic groups. Most recently, many of them used the Christmas holiday as an excuse to apply for exit permits, and some don't plan on returning. Well, those with the financial means have mainly made their way to South America, where hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Christians already reside in various countries. But unlike the Christians of the Gaza Strip, those in the West Bank living under the Palestinian Authority claim to have a better situation in cities such as Bethlehem and Ramallah, where our reporter recently sat with many prominent Christians from the Gaza Strip and has brought their stories to you here on Inside Magazine. Well, here's the report of the Endangered Christians of Gaza by Enrique Zimmerman.
Pope Francis is worried about the situation of Christians in the Middle East, and with good reason. More and more faithful followers are abandoning the region due to Islamic pressure and economic difficulties. In the Palestinian town of Bethlehem, Christmas this year will be remembered as a merry festivity. Never were there so many pilgrims in the city where Jesus was born. More than 2 million people visited in 2013. Still, church authorities recognize that conditions for Christians in places like Iraq, Lebanon, Syria and Gaza are extremely critical.
In Syria, Al-Qaeda came to the churches, especially in the zone of Aleppo. And this Christmas, they prohibited ringing the bells and the exhibition of crosses. Our clergymen are afraid they want to cut their throats.
The Spanish Franciscan priest has lived in the region for 41 years, witnessing 6 wars and 2 Palestinian intifadas. But for the Christian believers, this is probably the most delicate moment.
It
is radical Islam. They would prefer either to kill the Christians or convert them. Otherwise, they simply kill them.
3 years ago in Bethlehem, we met Major General Kamal Tarazi, the highest-ranked Christian officer in Gaza. In 2007, Hamas took power in the Strip following a putsch. General Tarazi described attacks conducted against Christians by radical Islamists and said that he himself received some death threats.
Those who attacked us were masked and armed Islamists. We do not know if they belong to Hamas or another group. But they are all one movement with different names. The orientation of all of them is the Quran.
In the last day of Christmas, a Palestinian translator and me, we called Kamal up on his mobile phone. Imagine our surprise when we found out where he lived at the moment.
I returned to Gaza to save my house. They told me that the military wing of Hamas had transformed my home into their base and that the building was destroyed.
He also revealed that many families in Gaza receive a permit to cross Israeli territory and travel to the West Bank in order to celebrate Christmas in Bethlehem. Many of them decided not to return to Gaza because they are simply overwhelmed by fear. That is the case of Nabil Tarazi, a distant relative of Kamal, a Palestinian Authority official.
After Hamas took power, one of its leaders wrote an article in the newspaper saying that the Christians must know that a pure Islamic-governed era is beginning in Gaza.
Tarazi's daughters, Tara of 18 and Laris 15, remember that in the Islamic University in Gaza, they force Christian students to cover themselves with a veil.
She said, like, I'm Christian, why do I have to cover myself? But even though she covered herself, but she wore the cross on her neck, they told her to hide it, but she didn't. They didn't want the Christians, of course. Say, Palestine is an Islamic country, so we don't need Christians, so we kill them all, or we turn them to Muslim.
This was also the case of Ramez Alamash, a young Christian boy who surprised everyone by converting to Islam.
I was not kidnapped. I converted to Islam voluntarily. I thank my parents for their concern on my behalf.
Ramez's parents, who are currently in mourning, called Nabil up from Gaza to consult with him on the situation.
Of course, I was solidarity, not because he was going to Islam, but he was because he under pressure went to Islam. Under pressure. That's all.
This Christmas, Laris marches with the Boy Scouts in the Nativity Square of Bethlehem, but finds it hard to forget her friend Ramez.
We were close, me and Ramez. We used to watch movies and another group of children like that. It was a big shock. We heard that he was kidnapped by them, so they forced him, maybe they tortured him to convert.
Father Manuel is nicknamed the Pope of Gaza because for 14 years he represented the highest Catholic authority in the Palestinian Strip, maintaining excellent relations with the Muslim community and even with Hamas. Lately, he decided to move to his native city of Bir Zayt in the West Bank, where he has a private little chapel in his own home.
I understand there were also some Islamic groups, radical groups, who attacked your churches, who killed even some members of the community. How did you react to that?
It was during the clashes between Hamas and Fatah. Someone entered forced the doors of the school of the Rosary Sisters. They entered there and they destroyed, we see everything inside, they burnt the curtains, everything. But
when a Christian activist, Rami Ayad, was murdered in Gaza, Father Manuel invited Muslims from all movements to Mass.
Hamas, Jihad, Salafi, Tusi, Front Popular, all this. And I said at that time that we Christians, we forgive, we pardon to this one who killed one of us. And we pray for this, the parents of this man who dared to kill Rami.
Father Manuel explains some of the conversions to Islam because according to him, the Christians in Gaza are poor and find it hard to pay 500 euros in yearly fees to Christian schools. This is why many Christian children attend public schools, where books are provided for free.
Books, what we have in the hands of children, don't speak about Christianity. Everything is Islam. Everything is Islam. Morality is Islam. Religion is Islam. History is Islam. It is Muhammad and the Quran and the tradition. It's for Islam. Now, Christianity is absent in their school, in our schools. Now we are fighting for that, to change these books and to change everything. Now, these children who used to live with Muslims everywhere and to hear the Islam from the beginning of their life till the university, they acquire convictions.
Of the 6,000 Christians in Gaza several years ago, today only 1,000 remain. Father Manuel, who is preparing himself for Pope Francis' visit, planned for May 25th, conveys a message to his fellow Muslim Arabs.
We Christians in this land, we are the protectors of Muslims. Now we have the possibility to speak outside, to say what is happening. We defend our people. Now if Muslims lose Christians in this land, they will lose their country.
But probably the most shocking development related to Gaza is the story of Major General Tarazi. He who escaped Gaza out for fear not only returned to the area controlled by Hamas. On Ramadan Eve, in the last month of June, he had to convert to Islam in the central mosque of Gaza.
The circumstances in which we live have brought me to the decision to convert to Islam.
The Islamic groups distributed the surprising images of his conversions on YouTube. Some Christians from Gaza who have converted to Islam maintain their Christianity in secret inside their homes, especially during Christmas. Kamal confirms now that some Islamists ask him, "Why don't you go 5 times a day to pray in the mosque like a proper Muslim?" He admits he's scared for his life.
My life is in danger. I have to leave Gaza as soon as possible, and I beg you to help me.